In this video, we are going to bring our Automata projects through completion. So this is a finished Automata, although I spent 3 seconds on my bobbers, so I expect more from your bobbers, but you get the idea. And this is what the motion will look like when we are done. When you grab the handle and move it, it moves up and down like so. And that's what we're going to work on today. So I made a copy just to show you what it looks like before we do the cam and the follower and the washer and the bobber. So the first thing I want to mention is you are most likely going to have to make some edits to your top and possibly even your sides. Maybe you need more holes, maybe you have to move your holes, etc., etc. So if you have to make some edits, you can go to your top right here and then right click, edit your sketch. And then it's real simple. Just change this dimension right here, and you can simply enough get your wrong dimension right here. Get your holes to change. And fortunately, when you go over to your assembly, it does a pretty good job of updating automatically. So that's not okay the way I have it intersecting right now. So you definitely want to make sure that your bobbers are not touching each other. So maybe we would want that to be a little bit different, but you get the idea. With the sides, I changed it up from when it was originally. I think this was like 1.5 or something. I changed that to be 2, so it's right in the middle. And that'll maximize the size of the can that you can have. So I would make my side 2. I think it was 1.5, 1.25. Another thing that I changed was I changed the handle. I think that the crankshaft. The crankshaft's was, I believe, 2, and I made it 1.5 because the way I had it currently, after I moved this hole right here, it was going past the bottom, which I wouldn't want. Okay, so that's how you make changes. You might have to make changes. You might have to add more holes. Real simple. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to begin importing my my cams. And you have a few different cams. I think I only have one here, and that's the eccentric cam. So I'm going to import my eccentric cams. I'm also going to insert 2 more of those caps that I put right there, and that's going to be going on the top. And I'm going to insert my 2 followers. And I'm going to also insert my bobber, which I haven't really renamed it yet. I should. And of course, my bobbers are overly simplified. I expect more from yours. Okay, so let's put these washers on top. Fasten, and then get the top of here, the top of right there. Wrong direction. Good, that's one. And now we'll do the second one. Good. Good. Wrong direction. Good. Okay. Now we are going to begin putting the cams on. Now I have, I just did the eccentric cams. You might do different cams. All going to be the same process as long as you have your proper hole right there. And we're going to do the fasten for this. I'm going to say I want to fasten this hole right here with this hole right here. Okay? And that looks good. But we are going to have to do some offset because we want this to be located directly underneath that hole right there. So we're going to turn on offset, and you're able to offset this in any of the 3 directions, X, Y, or Z. X, Y, or Z. For me, and probably yours, it's going to be in the Z direction. So you have to figure out what that offset distance is. It's not bad to figure that out if you know what the distance from the center of this hole to the edge is, and then where your overhang is. But if you're not sure, you can kind of just start playing with the numbers until it works. So let's just try 6 inches. Okay, it's going in the other direction, so we're going to have to make that be -6. Way too much, right? So I'm going to go back, right-click, edit, and then you can just try different configurations. 4.5. Okay, getting a little closer. Let's try -4. A little bit too much, so we'll do 3.75. And that looks about good. It's actually probably a little bit more. Okay, that looks good to me. And I'm going to hit OK. So now, when you move this, it should be rotating with it. All right, awesome. Now we're going to insert this cam right here. So I'm going to do the same thing, fasten, and I'm going to get that hole through right here. Did that not work? All right, I'm just going to try it again. I think I missed something. Fasten from here and right here. Okay. And offset. And let's start with -2 and see what that does for me. Okay, a little bit too much, so let's try 1.75. That looks good. Maybe make it a hair more. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and I'm going to hit the green check for now, and you can see if that worked. Now that worked, although this is going to make my bobbers constantly be with the same displacement. These two bobbers would be moving up and down at the same location all times. You can see that over here. Or where's my assembly? Right over here. The way I have it over here, they're alternating. And I kind of want to show you how to do the alternating because I think a lot of you are going to want to do something like that. So here's how you have them be alternating or staggered. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and edit the one we just did. I'm going to right click and then edit. So rotation angle, you're just going to have to change that to be maybe 180. Maybe you want to do it to be 90. And that just flips it. And now, when you move it, it's going to be at a nice spot. How did I get moved? It looks a little bit off now. Let's go ahead and edit that distance. So I want that to be maybe -2. A hair over 2. Okay, that's probably good for now. You can always adjust it slightly later, because once you have the follower here, you can see where it's resting. But as long as it's touching a little bit, it'll actually be okay. Okay, and let's make sure that we're still good. Alright, and we're good. Okay, now let's put these followers in. Where'd my other follower go? Maybe you only put in one before. We're going to have to do 2 constraints to get this follower in. The first one is going to be the slider, and the slider is going to let it slide up and down. So let's go ahead for the slider mate, and we're going to have to say that we want that to be matched with this right here, and that direction looks good, so I'm going to say okay. And then we're going to do it again. I want this right here to slide through with this right here. And is that direction good? I think so. Okay. So let's pull it out a little bit. And now what we want is we want almost like a gravity effect. We want this to be going down on gravity, and then it'll stop moving once it makes contact with the cam. So to do that, we are going to do another constraint called tangent. And what the tangent mate does is you choose 2 surfaces that you constantly want to be kissing. It's kind of like the planner, only this is going to be with movement. So we're going to do tangent mate, and I want this surface right here to be always tangent to this surface right here, the edge of this side. And that doesn't look very good to me, but if you change the direction, it is going to be touching it properly. Tangent this surface right here with this surface right here. Change up the direction, and then okay. And now, if we did it right, when we move this, let's do something like that. It's moving up and down. And see, like, as this is rotating and changing, it's still just making contact with the surface as if gravity was pulling down on it. Ooh. And then the last step is just to attach your bobber. So you needed to do your bobber in a way that you're able to connect it to the follower. So any kind of connection will work. It doesn't matter if like real world physics is applied or not. Just make it connect. So I'm going to do a fasten. I'm just going to do the fasten of 2 concentric circles. That's the right direction. Good. And then fasten this with this right here. And I never changed my top, did I? So we'll have to change my top just so I don't like the way those are touching each other. And that might happen to yours too. You'd be like, oh man, my bobber's too big or something. So you have to just make edits. You gotta figure out how to make it work. So let's make this 1.25 each. And you might have to make edits to your top, your side, your bobber. You might have to do more holes. You're going to have to be creative with it. I didn't do this one as a one-size-fits-all type thing. Okay. And now let's see if we're good. And we are good now. So when you're finished, it should have a cool motion. It should be sliding up and down. Your bobber should be properly attached. Your handle, we don't want our handle like extending past the bottom, because if the handle extends past the bottom, then when you're on a table, it won't work. And I think that's it. That concludes this video, and hopefully you are able to finish up your Automata this next class.